Good afternoon to all of our members out there, NACM, around the country, viewing with us for the first time in this virtual fashion. We welcome you to the NACM business meeting. This is the first, obviously. We would love to have been at our conference in New Orleans this week, but out of precautions for health and safety concerns, we opted to have our business meeting here online, and we appreciate you for joining us. I want to acknowledge our parliamentarian, Rick Pierce, who's the governance chair. Is Rick on? Okay, if not, I'd like to ask for a quorum, the declaration of the quorum, and I will have Mr. Secretary Treasurer Jeffrey Sunakawa to let me know if we have a quorum or not, please.
Yes, Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We will now proceed with the business meeting. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our officers and board members that are online. Our officers, immediate past President Paul Deloche from Virginia.
Greetings from Virginia.
Our President-elect, TJ Bennett from Georgia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome and hello from hot Georgia.
Our Vice President, Kathy Griffin from Michigan.
Hello from Michigan.
All right. And our Secretary Treasurer, Jeffrey Sunakawa from Texas.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Great. And those are our officers. We'll move on to our board members. Charleston Carter from North Carolina.
Hello, everyone. North Carolina here.
All right. Thank you, Charleston. Jeff Chappell from Missouri.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Michelle Donovan from Arizona.
Hello, everybody.
Frank Hardister from Michigan.
Hello, everyone.
Dorothy Howell from New Jersey.
Greetings from New Jersey.
Kelly Hutton from North Dakota.
Hi, everyone from North Dakota.
Tina Madison from Arizona.
Welcome, everyone.
All right. Rick Pierce from Pennsylvania. Okay. And Angie Van Short from Colorado. We will now proceed to the business meeting and the reports. Please note that all of the necessary materials are posted on the NACM website. You can find it at www.nacmnet.org/2020 annual. So please feel free to look at the reports there. We'll begin the reports with our Secretary Treasurer's report, Mr. Sunakawa.
Thank you, Will. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Sunakawa. This year I was honored to be the Secretary Treasurer of NACM. 2020, as you all know, has been a rough start compared to 2019. So on your screen, you'll see two sets of numbers. The first set is our actual numbers where we ended the year 2019. We did pretty well. Our income was about 1.5 million. Our expenses roughly 1.4 million. Netting us with about 100,000 by the end of 2019. So a couple of things I highlighted here reflective of 2019 was our sponsorships and our registration revenues were higher than expected. As you'll recall, our 2019 major conference was in Little Rock. Our 2019 annual conference was in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, we did really well. Our number of registered attendees was much higher than we had actually budgeted for. So we were thrilled about that. And the other highlight of last year was there was no unexpected events. It was a year like most other years, so we did well. Our 2020 budget obviously is a little different. When NACM sets its budget, it is a calendar year budget from January through December. So we are in the middle of the 2020 budget year. As of right now, we are projecting an income of 816,000 with expenses looking at about 943,000, netting us a negative 127,000. So I wanted to go ahead and explain that drastic difference from 2019. NACM receives a lot of its income from our conferences, both registrations and our sponsorships for the conferences. And obviously not having the 2020 annual conference we're going to see a significant difference in our income and expenses. So I'll go over a few things in the highlights. So first of all, there will be no 2020 in-person annual conference, although we will be doing a virtual experience. There were cancellation fees for this. So much like any other event that you plan, when you reserve and you book space and services, if in the event that you have to cancel, there are often cancellation fees. We were fortunate enough to work with the hotel on the fees that they were going to charge us. In the end, with our conversations, the hotel agreed to only charge us a $25,000 cancellation fee. Fortunately, because of the current state in New Orleans, where they're not allowed to hold in-person events no larger than I think 10 people, we wouldn't have been able to have our conference there at this time anyways. So as of the last week, the hotel has waived our cancellation fee. We had other fees that we fortunately were refunded for our social event. We got those money back. So in the last week, our budget got a little better. The other things I wanted to highlight for the current year's budget is we, as a board, agreed to eliminate our in-person fall board meeting, which would typically occur around September or October. Instead, the board will be meeting virtually for that. Other items in our budget that we reduced or eliminated was the president's travel budget. Oftentimes, the president is allocated money to attend conferences from other associations in which we're invited, in which we'd like to be able to speak on behalf of NACM. So we reduced that budget as a lot of travel is not even required for many states. And we also eliminated the budget line for our conference site visits for the year 2024. NACM plans its conferences several years in advance. This year, we have been planning our conference locations for the year 2024. By eliminating that line item, we save some money. We will be revisiting some of the locations that we visited last year to reconsider for 2024. We've seen a reduced number of memberships and renewals for this year, which again aids a lot into our income budget. Obviously, the loss of the conference revenue, but I did want to highlight the board was committed to hosting educational sessions virtually. We felt like we couldn't cancel our annual conference and lose out on that opportunity to provide really great education and resources to our members. And unfortunately this year, because we're able to offer our conference to non-members as well, we're hoping to really broadcast all the great things that NACM does in a much larger scale. All of our financial documents are posted on the NACM website under our business records. You will see the current expenses and budget reflect what we budgeted at the end of last year. Since with going to this virtual conference, our budget has changed a little bit, and those budget numbers will be updated and posted on the NACM website shortly after this week. So not the most wonderful budget presentation, but please know that your board is working tirelessly to save every dime possible and to make sure that we're spending every dollar that we need to as efficiently as possible. So, Mr. President, that's the Secretary Treasurer report.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And we will continue with the reports in order, this order: Charleston Carter, Communications Chair; Kathy Griffin, Education Chair, Membership; Michelle Donovan, and Governance, Rick Pierce, in that order, please. So, Mr. Carter, you're up next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Simmons. It is indeed a pleasure to have served as the NACM's Communication Chair for this year, along with my Vice Chair, Frank Hardister. Together, and now in spite of COVID-19, we have had an awe-inspiring and hard-working committee to ensure that you stay abreast of what's going on in the NACM community. We've had our Court Manager, which is our quarterly electronic magazine. The spring issue was released in April the 17th, and the fall issue is expected to be released September the 25th. If you have already read, and I know that you have, please provide us some positive feedback so we can implement that or incorporate that into our next issue. We've had the Court Express, which is the electronic newsletter that provide members with information about events and court news. And many thanks to the editor, Jeffrey Sunakawa, for the latest release on May the 22nd. And we look forward to the next release on November the 20th. And if you're willing to share an article to leave your indelible mark in the pages of court history, please submit an article to us. We also have the media guide, which is expected to be completed soon. I think each of you will be excited once that is released. It's going to be user-friendly, printable, and it's also going to include links as well as media packets that you'll be able to utilize in your court system. And we have the NACM resource with Dawn Palermo and her team as it relates to an index resource. When I say index resource, that's almost like a Google search engine. So whenever you want to search articles in NACM, you will be able to pull up the necessary articles that you need. And we look forward to seeing that. And many of you have probably heard some of the podcasts that we have had, which is normally every third Thursday of every month, which has been a valuable resource. And during COVID-19, we tried to ensure that we keep you abreast of what is happening in the courts across the nation. And we look forward to actually having our first video podcast released very soon. As a matter of fact, the podcasts have been so popular, about 7,300 people have been listening to those podcasts. We also have our social media that Kevin Lane has done a spectacular job to ensure that he put as much information as possible of what we're currently doing on our various committees. And we truly appreciate his valuable help. And we have completed 2 webinars this past year, and actually we're going to be doing our 3rd webinar. Tyler Technology will be sponsoring it, and it's going to be entitled Online Courts, The New Reality. And we look forward to having that presented on August the 12th at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. More information will be forthcoming. And of course, you can definitely go to our website, nacmnet.org, and find all this information, which is a valuable resource. And we truly thank you so much for following us as it relates to some of the projects that we're currently working on in NACM. And since I mentioned earlier about expressing my appreciation for members that have done an outstanding job, it is without further ado that I have to mention a few individuals. The first individual that I would like to mention is Frank Hardister. Frank has been the vice chair for the Communications Committee with me. But whenever unforeseen circumstances occurred, Frank was always there to assist in the need. And I truly appreciate his help. And he received the Lady of Justice Award from the Communications Committee from me. The next person is no other than Dorothy Howell, who's the Court Executive Probation with New Jersey Superior Court. And as you saw the podcast that Peter Kiefer has been doing, Dorothy Howell has been behind the teaser that goes out to our membership, which we are so thankful for, to engage in the information that will be coming. She's also currently working on an electronic directory for us as well. Thank you so much, Ms. Howell. And we have Peter Kiefer, who has done an outstanding job. I mean, all the applause goes in terms of creating the podcast and the information and interviewing the panelists that many of you have served on and putting that information out into our community. And like I've said before, we have over 7,000 people listening to our podcast who have listened to it. Then we have Amanda Marshall as it relates to, who jumped right in as it relates to the media guide. And it was her goal to create a media guide that will be done soon. And she has done a tremendous job with her as well as her team. And Tasha Huth, as it relates to Ruth, as it relates to the court manager, who was on the job for 2 years, and for unforeseen reasons, she had to devote her attention elsewhere, but done a tremendous job as it relates to the court manager. And then we have Charlene Watkins. Charlene Watkins volunteered the role for the court manager from Tasha Ruth, and has done a fantastic job, and will be released in spring of 2020, the April edition, and we look forward to the other information. Everyone on the committee has done a tremendous job, as well as these individuals, and I want to thank you so much for your participation and your work on the committee. At this given time, I would like for the chair for the Education Committee, Kathy Griffin to please come forward.
Thank you, Charleston. I've had the privilege of serving on the NACM board as vice president this past year. And part of that role, I chair the education committee. And I also, under membership, run the state association committee. But right now I'm going to focus on the education committee. So the purpose of the education committee is to evaluate and continuously improve educational programming and ensure that NACM is the premier educational content for our members and the court professional community. As part of our strategic plan, our programming is on core hot topics, innovative practices, and emerging issues, which we've had a lot of those this year. Projects we've tackled this year were ongoing from last year, and they will roll into next year as well. But part of what we have done is identify certain tracks for our educational sessions at conferences, such as core tracks, technology tracks, try to make it a little more user-friendly for our members to know which session might be of interest to them. With the other committees, as Charleston just mentioned, we've been working on the resource repository, and we're also working on a leadership assessment tool. Two subcommittees, which are, one is a huge subcommittee, is the Conference Development Committee, and I'll let TJ expand on that. But first, before he does, because I know he'll be discussing the virtual conference, I want to say kudos to Conference Development for the great mid-year conference we had this past year in Charlotte, North Carolina, and what an outstanding educational sessions we had. So as chair of education, I can't not mention that great conference that we had right before the pandemic hit. And the other subcommittee is our Cork Subcommittee. So I'm going to let Jeffrey Sunakawa, who chairs the Core Subcommittee, talk about the highlights of Core for this year. Part of the membership committee, subcommittee, state associations that I run, I worked with all the presidents from the various state associations. We had a lot of really good roundtable discussion calls this year, and part of that rolls into both education and state association is our leadership seminar that we partner with NASG, the National Association of State Judicial Educators, as part of this conference. And we are still working out the details, and that will be part of the virtual experience for those state association leaders. So we had discussed all year about what a great opportunity that leadership seminar is, and I just want to let the virtual crowd of our state association committee know that that is still a go, and look for it to future announcements on that. With that, I'll turn it over to Jeffrey Sunakawa, and then following Jeffrey will be Michelle Donovan and the membership committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. The Core Committee is a very hardworking subcommittee of the Education Committee. Obviously, by its name, the committee is charged with working on the core curriculum, which you can find at nacmcore.org. So the Core Committee accomplished several things this year. One of the pieces of work that the committee does is it goes back into some of the curricula that's already been written and posted and developed, and reviews that curricula just to make sure it is still current, that it's not out of date, and makes any changes or updates as necessary. So we pulled together a group of individuals who have a great deal of expertise in that particular curriculum, and we find others who might add some more resources or expertise. This year, we took on two of our curriculums. One was Purposes and Responsibilities, and one was Operations Management. The Operations Management started, but then when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, a lot of the resources had to be diverted to their local courts. So that group is scheduled to restart their review of the Operations Management curricula in July, so later this month. But there was another curricula that was reviewed, Purposes and Responsibilities. That group was led by Brandon Kimura from Hawaii, and they successfully met even during the COVID crisis and reviewed the curricula, made some updates that weren't necessarily substantial, but were necessary. So that curricula has been updated and posted on the core website. And the next couple of projects, you might have noticed that NACM board created a fair use notice and disclaimer statement for the core that's posted on the NACM core website. And then lastly, many of you have probably heard about the Core Champion, which is a program focused on individuals completing all the different core curriculum areas and really putting some structure around that and some recognition. So again, we had a little delay with that because of the COVID-19 crisis, but the committee expects this next year for that project to restart and to be completed. So I would personally like to acknowledge someone who has been working in core in the last year. I've mentioned his name already, Brandon Kimura. He's the Deputy Administrative Director at the Hawaii State Judiciary. Brandon led a very highly experienced and highly useful group on the purposes and responsibilities curricula. And again, because we were able to finish that project during this pandemic, I'm excited that we did it, and I'm excited that Brandon Kimura was able to step up and even during his regular day job to lead that group. So thank you, Brandon. Special thanks to you for your work on that. And that is my core report. So TJ?
I'm going to hold my comments for the virtual experience overview here in just a moment. So we'll roll on to membership with Michelle.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. So the membership committee has worked really hard this year to be innovative and creative in our quest to reach as many court professionals as possible and provide them with the tools and resources to succeed in every kind of court. Our subcommittees, which Kathy already alluded to before, they all focus on the needs of unique populations, so international, state associations, and early career professionals. For example, one of the things that we did this year was reinvigorating our mentorship program. And if you happen to be interested in being a mentor or a mentee, you can apply by going to the Who We Are page on the NACM website. More broadly, our efforts have focused on the Membership 2020 campaign. We are, at the very beginning of the year, we were really hoping to get 2,020 members in 2020. And some of those efforts included a reduced one-year membership rate for first-time members at conferences. And at the mid-year conference, we were able to bring on 13 new members. And we also created a membership scholarship and nomination process. And so we brought on 2 new members through that initiative at the mid-year conference. And we'll be doing the same at the virtual conference with at least 2 members being selected for those scholarships. We also updated some documents. We revamped the membership benefits flyer. We rewrote the renewal letters. So hopefully some of you have seen those come across. And part of those renewals has also been an exit survey. So if we're not getting a response from somebody, we're asking, what could we do better? What else do you want from us? Is there something else that we can do to really retain the members that we have? Because they're all valuable to us. We've also developed templates for letter writing campaign, and we are about to bring on another dual membership partner. So we're really excited about that. Despite all of these efforts, COVID-19 has had an immediate impact on our membership numbers, losing over 70 to non-renewal in the first month alone. And so for some context, that's 74 professionals who will not receive resources like media guides and court manager articles. They won't receive notifications about new resources being developed to help with this specific time, like webinars and podcasts. And also, to follow up on Jeffrey's budget, that's about $10,000 in revenue. So in the next couple of months, and especially during the virtual conference experience, you're going to see a variety of ways to support membership. We've set up ways to continue donating and nominating for our membership scholarships. We will also be offering merchandise for purchase and offering and reminding everybody to participate in the committees that we have. We will also be having a targeted push for members from California, Texas, New York, and Florida. as they are the most underrepresented states per capita. And we want them to have a voice in NACM, as well as access to all of NACM's resources. So if you know anybody from those states who isn't a member, now will definitely be the time to join. The membership committee needs all of your help as well. So I'm personally inviting you to be on the membership committee and spread the word, suggest new ideas, and implement new programs. So we're meeting tomorrow, and then after that, we'll be meeting on the first Wednesdays of the month at 2 p.m. I want to thank several members of this committee, specifically the membership vice chair, Tina Madison, and our subcommittee chairs, Michelle Oken, Kathy Griffin, and again, Tina Madison. I also want to thank all the participants of the membership committee and subcommittees, but two early career professionals in particular, Paulina Pasquarelli and Stacy Werby. Both of them have really come through on all of the different unique things that ECP is required to do, a lot of things with charity, a lot of things with conference development, and they've been really vital to the success of ECP. And Stacy will be the new ECP chair, so thank you both.
Thank you, Michelle. And we'll now hear from Rick Pierce, our governance chair.
Mr. President, I'll start off, apologize for my late joining. When technology works, it's a wonderful thing. When it does not, this is what happens. But good afternoon, everyone. I thank you for the privilege of serving as your chair for the governance committee for the past year. I want to thank Angie Van Scoik for her dedicated service as the vice chair. And to all those who have participated in meetings on various subcommittees throughout the year, I say thank you as well. The Governance Committee's stated objectives may be found on the committee's landing page of nacmnet.org. Please allow me just to highlight some of these responsibilities and accomplishments of this committee as visually represented in this slide. First and foremost, upon which most of the objectives of governance revolves around is the national agenda, which is right there in the center of your slide. A subcommittee consisting of past presidents and members of varying years of membership in NACM, including 3 first-year members, was formed in December for the purpose of re-examining the current iteration of the national agenda, which is set to expire at the conclusion of the calendar year. Progress has been made in spite of the current pandemic. The committee is optimistic it will present the 3rd iteration of this foundational document of our profession to the board by December. And a link to the current national agenda may be found on the NACM homepage. Governance oversees and monitors the implementation of a 3-year strategic plan, as you also see there on your slide. This plan, unlike the national agenda, which speaks to the profession of court management, is NACM's roadmap for its work as the Association for Court Management. Governance submits a report at the annual fall board meeting on each committee's progress of attaining the stated objectives and activities in the plan. And a copy of this report may be obtained by searching the minutes of the October 2019 board meeting. A fundamental principle of the national agenda is for this association to be a voice of the profession of court management. Governance proposed 4 original resolutions this past year, ranging on topics from cell phone and other personal electronic device usage in courtrooms and court facilities, to the use of plain language in all written and oral communications, including pleadings, and lastly, to emphasizing the NACM mission and commitment through education and resource sharing with our members while increasing the public's trust and confidence in our courts. Resolutions provide one forum for NACM's voice. A survey aptly named the Voice of the Profession provides another. This annual survey with responses from you, the membership, provides valuable feedback as to the direction in education we should pursue, as well as what position statements you think NACM should take on behalf of the membership. The pandemic and social justice issues will be focal points for the upcoming survey, which we plan to distribute at the close at or close to the date of our mid-year conference, which is slated for February of 2021. Before I conclude, please allow me to acknowledge 2 committee members who distinguished themselves this year. First, Ms. Nicole de Garcia, who's the Director of Jury Services for the Superior Court in Maricopa County, Arizona. and Dr. Kim Free, who's the judicial educator for the Utah Administrative Office of Courts. Nicole and Kim provided valuable input and guidance, as well as text to the State of the Profession address, a speech that will be given by President Will Simmons in the coming weeks. Nicole and Kim worked tirelessly on the text of this speech, all in the face of a pandemic, which we know severely limited the availability, the time availability for both. And I thank you for both of you. Angie and I are pleased to recognize your efforts with this Lady Justice Award. That concludes the report of the Governance Committee. I thank you for the opportunity to share our story with you today. And I now return the floor to our President-elect, Mr. T.J. Bemay.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. And my apologies. The burdens of working for home is a little while is that the lawn folks decided to come of all days and at all times at this moment. So welcome, everybody. I'm very disappointed that we can't be together with one another in New Orleans. As you well know, as members, the board made the tough and difficult choice of deciding to cancel our in-person conference in New Orleans to protect the health and safety of you, our members. With the great and continued support of the State Justice Institute and some reworking of our grant that helps support our mid-year and our annual conferences, we are going to be moving the vast majority of our content into an online platform starting in August. About the third week of August, and we will be having what we're lovingly going to call the NACM Thursdays. We will have 3 sessions each Thursday. It'll be a combination of live and pre-recorded sessions, along with some opportunities for shared interest groups, networking, a virtual vendor expo, and other information that will be coming forth, including a recording of Dr. Simmons presenting the Voice of the Profession address that will be part of that virtual experience. With the help of the folks at SJI, under the leadership of Jonathan Mattiello, their executive director, we were, as I noted, we were able to make some changes in our grant. The result is going to be is that this virtual experience is going to be made complimentary. It will be open to NACM members and non-members alike. We feel in this time of pandemic and remote teleworking and the tough challenges on our local budgets that we need to focus on getting the content to you, our members, in the most economical and advantageous way, to not take you out of the office and out of pocket for days on end, but to spread that content over the course of 10 weeks. So we hope that you will join us on one or many of the individual education sessions over the course of those 10 weeks. So please join us, and we look forward to having you be part of the Virtual Experience 2020. Thank you all, and I kick it back to you, Will.
Thank you, TJ. And I want to say thank you to you and the committee for doing such a great job adopting under this unforeseen circumstances that we have. But I'm sure it's going to be a great virtual experience. And thank you for all your work on that. NACM recognizes court professionals in courts for their accomplishments by presenting the following awards: the Award of Merit and the Enhancing Justice Award. And we do have 2 recipients this year that we would like to recognize. To recognize the Award of Merit, Tina Madison will do that, and following her to present the Enhancing Justice Award will be Frank Hardister. Thanks. Tina?
Thank you, Will. I'd like to acknowledge the awards committee who reviewed all of the nominations and selected the winners of these awards. Edwin Bell from Georgia, Don Cullen from Minnesota, Teresa Decker from California, Don Cullen from, oh, I already said him, Greg Lambert from New Jersey, and Stacy Warby from Alaska. The Award of Merit is presented to recognize a distinguished service and outstanding contributions by a member to the profession of court administration. This year's Award of Merit goes to Kevin Bolling. Kevin has held a career in the judiciary for over 40 years. He is currently the court administrator of the 20th Circuit and Ottawa County Probate Courts. He has worked with dedication to improve the administration of justice, as well as the knowledge, skills, and abilities of court leaders, staff, and judicial officers. His accomplishments are too numerous to mention. He is currently serving as the co-chair of the Joint Technology Committee and the chair of the Global Advisory Committee. And he has previously served NACM as its 27th president. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming Kevin to say a few words.
Oh, thank you very much, Tina. I appreciate that introduction, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm thrilled to be here, and I was reminded before coming on of something that FDR noted several years ago to all speakers, and that was to be sincere, be brief, and be seated. So I'm going to try to follow his advice as best I can. Please let me begin with a sincere thank you to the NACM officers and board of directors for this honor. I would also like to thank NACM past presidents Paul DeLoche and Jude Del Priore, as well as NACM Vice President Kathy Griffin and my recently retired juvenile court director Sandy Metcalf. I believe all of them and perhaps others had something to do behind the scenes with this award application process. I am still a little upset with them that they kept it a secret from me, but I appreciate that. It really is a humbling experience to be selected for the Award of Merit, especially considering the outstanding judicial administrators who have been previous recipients. As I understand it, the purpose of this award is to recognize distinguished service and outstanding contributions to the profession of court administration on a national basis. And as Tina mentioned, I've been working around the courts for a long time, 42 years, including short stints with the Denver Juvenile Court, the North Dakota Supreme Court, 20 years with the Michigan Supreme Court. I even had a year in Nigeria with the National Center for State Courts, and the last 17 years with the 20th Circuit and the Ottawa County Probate Court here in Western Michigan. But during that time, I've really learned an important lesson about teamwork and building professional relationships. Most of us are not successful because we do everything ourselves, but because we're part of something larger than ourselves, and we have outstanding colleagues with whom we work. On a local level, I'm really blessed to have a great group of judges and court employees. My chief judges, John Van Allsburg and Mark Fine, all of our judges and judicial officers, as well as a great leadership team and staff, work with me and support me every day to ensure we're doing all we can to enhance the administration of justice. On a statewide basis, our Michigan Supreme Court and State Court Administrative Office is guided by our outstanding Chief Justice, Bridget Mary McCormick, who brings great energy, innovative thinking, and professional support to our trial courts. I also have many great colleagues and friends in our state associations who have labored in the trenches with me throughout our careers. Two of these friends and colleagues currently are on the NACM board, Kathy Griffin and Frank Hardister. On a national basis, though, NACM has not only been an important avenue for professional development and network, it has become family for me. During this past year, as I struggled with throat cancer, I was amazed and blessed by many NACM members who reached out in support and lifted my spirits during some very difficult times. In addition to NACM, I've had the pleasure of working with and developing friendships and professional colleagues at the National Center for State Courts, the National Judicial College, NASJA, the Department of Justice, the IJIS Institute, and many other notable organizations, all of whom have provided me with support and guidance to help me be more successful as a court administrator. And importantly, many of these individuals and organizations also provided me with opportunities to give back, to share with others in the court community what I've learned during the past 42 years. So for all of these local, state, and national opportunities, the professional relationships, friendships, and personal support that I've received from you, I will be forever grateful. As I thought about this, and Tina asked me to keep it as short as possible, but she knew that was would be a challenge. But I thought about the Award of Merit, and it dawned on me that this is clearly not about me, but it's about all of you who have supported me over the years to become more successful than I could ever be on my own. I've certainly tried to improve the administration of justice through teaching and mentoring, through supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, through improving customer service and procedural fairness, and doing the very tangible things we all do as court managers, like beginning recovery courts or building courthouses or implementing e-filing and case management systems, negotiating contracts and improving wage and benefits for our staff, conducting research and evaluation projects, and most importantly, supporting the individual employees who we might find struggling with family crises or medical issues or professional development, or even now a pandemic. These are things we all do, and in that sense, in my opinion, we're all deserving of this award of merit. So I gratefully accept this honor on behalf of all court managers, and especially on behalf of those of you who have personally supported me throughout my career. You know who you are, and I thank you for all of your support. I also wanted to end by encouraging all of us to stay excited about and committed to our profession of judicial administration. It's a great career, and it's one where we can assist others in need and truly improve the quality of life in our communities. So with that, I hope you agree that I've tried to be sincere and brief, and now I'll be seated. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Kevin, and again, congratulations. My name is Frank Hardister, and I have the honor of presenting the Enhancing Justice Award. NACM's Enhancing Justice Award recognizes outstanding achievement and meritorious projects that enhance the administration of justice. This year, the award goes to Pima County Juvenile Court in Tucson, Arizona for the Dependency Alternative Program. I'd like to read a prepared statement on behalf of Pima County Juvenile Court's Presiding Judge, Peter Huckilly, and Associate Presiding Judge, Kathleen Quigley. It is an honor to receive the 2020 NACM Enhancing Justice Award. The Dependency Alternative Program provides a pre-petition resolution for families using differentiated case management principles. We use a family-centered approach which also saves time, resources, and money. Our cost savings is estimated to exceed $1 million. The Dependency Alternative Program is more than a court case management approach. This program exemplifies the importance and impact of closely working in collaboration with justice partners. It further exemplifies the importance of making the needs of families in our community a priority. Pima County Juvenile Court could not have developed and sustained the Dependency Alternative Program without the collaboration of our partners. We would like to recognize and thank all of our partners, collaborators, and the individuals who work with the program for their valuable contributions. Those partners include the court, judges, mediators, judicial staff, and court staff, clerk of the court, attorneys, Attorney General's Office, Department of Child Safety, Public Defense Services, Office of Court-Appointed Counsel, Legal Defender's Office, Public Defender's Office, Casey Foundation, and Care Center. Thank you and congratulations again to the Pima County Juvenile Court. We will send you your award in the mail. Please send us some pictures to share with our members. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick, and congratulations to the Pima County folks, and also Kevin for such a deserving award that you received today. Very good work. And now we're going to have our report on nominations committee from immediate past president Paul DeLoche. Paul.
Thank you, Will. And as the immediate past president, I was honored to serve as the chair of this year's nominations committee and pleased to deliver our report here virtually today. I'd like to first thank the nominations committee members that included Dorothy Howell of New Jersey, Michelle Oken, California, Mark Weinberg of Florida, and Stacy Warby of Alaska. So per NACM bylaws, the president, Will Simmons, automatically becomes the immediate past president and president-elect TJ Bennett becomes president. And as this special business meeting is being live streamed without direct intervention with you, our members, we accepted nominations from the floor virtually. And the deadline was earlier this week. and having received no virtual nominations from the floor, Robert's rules provide that if there is only one person nominated for each position, the president is to declare the nominees elected by acclamation. So therefore, Mr. President, the nominations committee submits the following slate as approved by acclamation. And as I read each name, just like we did in the opening, if each of you could say hello and wave, if you don't mind. So President-elect Kathy Griffin.
Hello, sorry, I was on mute.
Vice President Jeffrey Sunakawa.
Everyone, thank you.
Secretary Treasurer Rick Pierce.
Hi, everybody.
And for the Board of Directors, each serving 3-year terms, Greg Lambard from New Jersey. Might be muted. Angie Van Schoik from Colorado.
Hello. How is everybody?
And Kent Pankey from Virginia.
Greetings from Virginia.
So please join me in congratulating your new officers and your board members. Thank you. That concludes the nominations committee report. Back to you. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for your great work and the committee's work on that. All right, so at this time, it's customary that the president, we recognize the hard work of our board members who are outgoing for their many contributions and dedication or commitment to serving NACM. And this year, we have you that are outgoing, retained too after the last report we just received. So I'll start with the ones that were directors that will, well, I guess you only have one director that's leaving and not really leaving. But I want to recognize first Frank. Frank from Michigan, your left, my right, there on the screen. Frank, I want to thank you. I think Charleston summed it up great, what great service you provided to the members, to the committees. And we just want to say thank you for your service. And we appreciate you. We know you're not going anywhere, but your certificate is in the mail. But thank you. And here's the right handshake, my friend. Thank you. Not, but will become an officer is my good friend, Rick Pierce. Rick out of Pennsylvania. Very deserving, Rick. So glad that you're hanging on and continuing to serve. So thank you for your service as a board member, and looking forward to working with you for one more year as an officer.
Thank you.
And your certificate as well is in the mail, my friend. Angie Van Schoik, not leaving, re-upping again for a directorship. And so it was great to keep you on, and thank you for all you have done. You've certainly done a lot, filling in the gaps in so many different ways, and we just appreciate you so much. So congratulations and thank you for your service. And last but not least, our immediate past president, Paul DeLoche, will be transitioning from an officer, but Paul has been a part of NACM for a very, very long time, and he has done a lot of work for NACM since he started back in 2009, and probably beforehand, before becoming a director. And his work will certainly be remembered, and he's going to continue to work because he was just appointed to another committee for NACM with the National Center today. So Paul, thank you for all of your work. Thank you for all you've done for NACM and what you will continue to do for NACM. And thank you for your work on this committee, nomination committee this year.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Couple special recognitions here. Lady Justice Awards from me to these individuals here, Paul, Michelle, and Charleston. Don't want to belabor the meeting, but we just all appreciate the work that you've done and for NACM this past year, thinking unconventionally and doing things out of the box. And for that, you will receive a Lady Justice pin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Today, we are honored to have with us Justice Boggs, who's a fellow Georgian, one of our justices here in Georgia. He was appointed to the Georgia Supreme Court in 2016 by then Governor Nathan Deal. He was reelected statewide without opposition for a 6-year term in 2018. Prior to that, he served as a judge on the Court of Appeals for Georgia for 4 years. And before that, he was a Superior Court judge in the Waycross Judicial Circuit. If I told you all the committees that Justice Boggs serves on here in Georgia, we would be here literally all day. But he is a great justice, a good friend, and one we're very proud of here in Georgia. And I thank you, Justice, for being here with us today to swear in our new board members. And so with that, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Well, thank you, Will. I'm honored to be with you. I'm really honored to have Georgians play such a large role with you and TJ as well in your roles with NACM. I will tell you how impressed I am with what little I've been able to watch today of your meeting. I appreciate everything you all do. I've been, as you stated, a judge in various classes of courts across Georgia, from both trial courts to appellate courts. I've had the occasion to work with some excellent professionals in the court administration business, whether they be court reporters or court interpreters or clerks of court or district court administrators, probation officers and such. And I'm just always honored to see the professionalism that is brought to bear and how much you help in enhancing the administration of justice. So thank you all for what you do. I'm truly honored to be with you today. One of your award recipients said earlier that, you know, of the many roles that they have, and I particularly echo this, is the importance of including and advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the judicial system across the United States. So I appreciate your commitment to that and the role you all play in improving the administration of justice for the citizens that encounter our court system. So with that, I've been asked to swear in your new board. I'm happy to do that at this time if they're all ready, Will.
We're ready for you.
All right, so if each of you will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I,
Tina Madison,
Do solemnly affirm.
solemnly affirm
I will support and uphold
I will
that I will support and uphold
principles of the National Association for Court Management
Principles of the National Association for Court Management,
and that I will perform the duties of my office
and that
that I will perform the duties of my office
faithfully, impartially, and justly
faithfully,
impartially, and justly,
to the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations to each of you. TJ and Will, I appreciate the opportunity to be with you. I wish you all Godspeed. The challenges that you're all facing and that the members of the bench are all facing in this pandemic has been really tough. I will say that today I just got off a 4-hour bank meeting with the Supreme Court of Georgia, which is the 4th month that we've done that. And we're also holding, of course, remote oral arguments. And I know in my conversations with Supreme Courts across the United States and other trial courts as well, that we're all trying to kind of negotiate how do we deal with moving the administration of justice into a remote setting. And I know it's challenging for all of you. Please know, on behalf of my court at least, how appreciative we are for what you're doing to ensure justice for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice, and thank you for being here with us. So before I introduce our incoming president, just a few words really quickly to the board, to all of our NACM members. Thank you all so very much for allowing me to serve as your president. It's been a very humbling experience and one I will always cherish. And I want to just say thank you for allowing me just to be another part in the wheel to move NACM forward. It's been a great year, unconventional, but great year. So thank you all for allowing me to serve. TJ, can you see this?
I can.
All righty. I'm going to virtually bestow upon you and pass along to you the NACM President's Gavel. I know you will do well, and I feel blessed to have you as a friend, and it's been really an honor. And to you, Mr. President, you now have the floor.
Thank you. And through the modern wizardry that is technology, we are able to virtually transfer the gavel. So thank you, Will. So if everyone will bear with me for just a few minutes for a few remarks. Greetings to each of you, my fellow NACM members that are out there in cyberspace, our partners, and any guests that may be on the line. I am humbled to be on this stage, virtual as it may be, but to be in your presence nonetheless. I wish I could be there to see all of you, my NACM friends and family that I've come to know over the many years. As your new NACM president, I have so much that I would like to say to each of you, but alas, in this world of social distancing and the lack of large gatherings, our normal handshakes and hugs that we share with friends that I've made over the year will have to wait until we meet again, hopefully in the near future. I would like to take a brief moment to share condolences, well wishes, and sympathies. For any of you that have lost a loved one from this terrible virus, whether family, friends, colleagues, or coworkers, on behalf of my family and our greater NACM family, please know that we share your grief and your pain. For those of you who have been sick or know folks who have gotten sick and have recovered, we offer your well wishes and hope that you get and stay healthy. And for all of us that are missing the opportunities that we took for granted to gather together to share a common bond, whether it would be with family, at the office, your church, or at a conference like we would have been in New Orleans, I offer you my sympathies. I feel your pain, and like you, I'm waiting for a return to normalcy so that we can be together again. The incoming president gets the unique privilege to honor the outgoing president. I have the distinct privilege to honor not Dr. Will Simmons, but also to thank a friend, a colleague, and a fellow Georgian. Some of you may know that Will and I have the same job here in Georgia. No, we don't job share. It is actually different places in the state. We're both district court administrators. We cover multiple counties. Some are pretty urban and some are a whole lot less so. And we work for over 2 dozen judges. We both sit on several state committees and cover lots of meetings on behalf of our judges. That means we're on the road a lot, and therefore we'll also pulled into a lot of different directions. For those of you at last year's annual conference, you may remember that one of his judges, Chief Judge Chris Edwards, was able to present and share some information on Will. Judge Edwards agreed to contrive an excuse to call Will to his courtroom this Monday. He gathered his entire bench to congratulate Will on his year as president and to share some thoughts. Will had to sit in a socially distanced courtroom by himself. No, he wasn't being punished. That's just what we do in today's world. To hear his bench talk about him in ways that would bring you to tears. I was also joined at this event by a good friend of both Will and I, a fellow ICM fellow and a colleague, Ms. Stephanie Hines. Stephanie works for our AOC, but she's also the current president of our state association, the Georgia Council of Court Administrators. You'll see Stephanie there on the left. At our gathering this Monday morning, his judges, myself, and Stephanie all shared memories and congratulations to Will. There is a saying that you can judge, pun intended, a person by the friends he keeps. The measure of Will can be taken by what his judges and his friends say of him. Many of those shared the same sentiments at our gathering on Monday morning. Professional, gets things done, always ready to help, and most importantly, a friend. Will, maybe all those judges said nice things just so that you would get back to work and get back to your day job. But I think that what we have here is a true opportunity to share and congratulate a friend and fellow colleague. So therefore, I think those sentiments are sincere. Will, I'm honored to call you a true court professional and a friend. Thank you for your service. So you'll see on the screen before you, normally with our annual conference, we would give the outgoing president their plaque. We did it virtually in the midst of several of his judges, although not all. We also have the privilege, normally before a board meeting, before the annual conference, to have a board meeting. There, the board of directors usually bestows a gift onto the president. Normally, you don't get to see that, but we're gonna let you peek behind the proverbial curtain to see and experience part of that process. So for those of you who know Will, he's a big fan of Harleys. He does a little riding from time to time. So we were able to surprise him at our gathering this Monday morning for a gift on behalf of the board of directors, a nice Harley riding jacket, summer weight, so that he could enjoy the hot weather down here in Georgia and take a ride on his own bike. No, In our times of economic uncertainties, NACM did not buy Will a new bike. This is his own. But Will, we hope that you will enjoy your bike and enjoy the jacket on behalf of the Board of Directors of NACM as you coast away and enjoy your year as a immediate past president and then all your future years as a past president. So Will, we thank you for your service and we treasure our time with you. So enjoy the ride.
Thank you. Thank you, TJ. Thank you.
So as I move on here, for those of you in the know, the path to the NACM presidency is sometimes a long one. For most, it usually starts with a 3-year stint on the board, then several years moving up the officer chain. It can be as much as an 8 to 10-year commitment. I would like to share a few quick thanks for folks who have helped me along the way and encouraged me to take this path that I'm on now today. To my lovely wife, Amy, who is courageously sitting in another bedroom in our house, patiently watching 4 dogs to keep them quiet so that I can be here today. I thank you, Amy. You have lent me to NACM for all these years for the numerous board meetings and conferences, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know in you that I have found my cheerleader and that you will always be there when I need you. To my secretary, Kim, who many of you know as well, she has been with me for over a decade and found innumerable ways to allow me to do that, quote, NACM stuff by arranging my schedule and helping me get things done. Thank you, Kim. And to Paul DeLoche, now just a past president, that joined in all our other past presidents, I will miss you on our board. You've been a great friend and a mentor to me for the last many years. You have also earned the opportunity to step back and relax. Just know that I may call for advice from time to time, so please don't block me on your cell phone or on your email. And lastly, to Kathy, Jeffrey, and our new treasurer, Rick, and the rest of the board, boy, do we have our work cut out for us. So let me thank you now while I have the moment to do so in advance of the challenges that lie ahead. I may miss the opportunity to thank you, so please take it now. I'd like to share a little personal experience. I started my career over 20 years ago, and like many of you, I fell into the courts never having considered it a career option. But the moment I started working in the courts, I found a career that interested me and challenged me at the same time. And it was this challenge in my early career as a manager that compelled me to seek out help. I found NACM. And in NACM, not only did I find the resources to address the challenges of my job, but I also found a second home and a family. For these past 20 years, I've had the opportunity to learn from early mentors and past presidents like Shelley Euchre, Jeff Gallus, Marcus Rankensmeyer, Jude Del Priore, Janet Cornell, Susie Stinson, Norman Meyer, Paul, Kevin. I was in awe of all of them as I stumbled through my early career. But it was through their words of encouragement and mentoring that I came to embrace the power that is the camaraderie that we have in NACM and our shared experiences. So today, as we work together with the building blocks that I learned from attending NACM conferences that have been built off our NACM core competency, I feel I've become a better court professional. And I believe that so can each of you as court professionals as well. I hope that each of you has realized that learning never ends. NACM has inspired me to take Institute for Court Management courses and eventually becoming an ICM fellow, and then even becoming faculty for some courses. So I take a moment, a quick short shout out to my 2015 fellows, the best fellows class ever, and friends for life. I love you guys. Thank you for being on this ride with me. So to say that these times are unprecedented is an understatement, and it is just the beginning. The downstream consequences of closing our courthouses means huge backlogs of cases as we reopen. When we do reopen, the social distancing and safety precautions will limit our ability to handle cases in large number. Add to that the economic downturn that will put further pressure on us as our court budgets get cut and additional resources become scarce. Now, more than ever, is where we as court professionals are needed the most. With the help of our colleagues and the knowledge of our core competencies, we can figure this out. We have been hearing in the news that COVID-19 is a, quote, novel coronavirus. The dictionary tells us that novel simply means, quote, new or unusual in an interesting way. So here is my challenge and vision for us at NACM and us as court professionals. We too must be novel or new in an interesting or unusual way. As noted earlier, we had to cancel our in-person conference and instead are moving it to a virtual experience. The business meeting is also not being held in person. We're virtual right now. We can and must act in new and unusual ways to get things done. The stories I have heard during this pandemic from court professionals are amazing. Here are just a few. Court administrators and staff driving around their entire states, personally delivering masks, hand sanitizer, gloves, and more to judges in our courts to keep staff and the public safe. Judges who have forsworn the use of video hearings are now readily and excitedly jumping online to hear cases. Probation officers are letting probationers sew homemade masks to earn their community service hours. Drug courts and mental health courts are holding one-on-one and group counseling sessions online. And throughout this pandemic, most courts have never fully shut down and yet have found ways to handle protective orders, bond hearings, and other essential matters in unique and, dare I say, novel ways. Court is being held outdoors in tents or in large convention centers to allow for proper social distancing. Some courts are even attempting to do grand juries and even jury trials remotely. The world around us is changing. And for you change management folks out there, Janet, I'm looking at you. It is no longer an issue of who moved my cheese. It's now a new maze and something not even resembling cheese. In short, as NACM and as court professionals, we must be novel. To accomplish this, NACM will find new or unusual ways to support you, our members. NACM exists to serve you. We will continue to push out educational content in whatever ways necessary. We will be unveiling a new online repository of hundreds of conference videos, webinars, court manager articles, and more, all available by topic to help you. We will work with the Conference of Chief Justices, the Conference of State Court Administrators, the National Center for State Courts, and our numerous other partners and state associations to share and collaborate. We will do this and more, not because we have to, because that is what we are, court professionals. Our success is your success. Be novel. May each of you stay safe until we all meet again, hopefully in person. And as a final act as president, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jeff. Do I have a second? And our parliamentarian is saying we don't even require it. But you know what? I'm going to take this presidential prerogative and waive that second and say it's properly second and that there's no objections. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. We'll see you in a few weeks at our virtual experience. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Great job, everyone. Congrats, TJ.
Thank you all.
Yes, congratulations. Well done.
To everybody out there, have a great one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you, TJ. Congratulations.